Welcome to Tech School Podcast brought to you by DSDT. I am your host today, Carlos Harris. And of course, I'm joined by Jamie. Jamie, say hi to everyone.
Hi, everybody.
All right, so sorry Josh couldn't make it today. He's a little bit under the weather. And so, as they say in showbiz, the show must go on. And so we want to make sure that we continue, as promised, to be here every week so that you guys are brought information about what's going on here at DSDT, as well as what's happening around the world in tech news. So the guest that we're going to bring on today is actually workforce development specialist at DSDT, and she's going to come on and kind of share with you guys some of the tips, tricks, hacks, if you will, in order that you would be better prepared for that interview that I'm sure each of you are looking forward to. All right, so we want to bring on workforce specialist Ashley Tancredi.
Hey, guys. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So probably the first question I would like to know from you is, what exactly is your role at DSDT?
Sure. So my role here is to make sure that every student succeeds after graduation. What we do is we help them with their resume, building that IT professional resume, helping them with their LinkedIn profile, getting them situated and ready to go for job market. We teach them specific job searching tools, how to apply for specific jobs. We also help them interview prep. We sit down, we do virtual interviews, we walk them through how to interview professionally virtually, also on the phone. We teach them the ins and outs and the tricks to the trade. We also provide special assistance. We send their resumes personally to hiring managers, have those conversations with those managers, really get their foot in the door. Anytime that they have to have practice exams or quizzes, we sit down and we work with them one-on-one with those. So we want to make sure that every student after graduation really has the tools to succeed in a job market.
Okay, so in the grand scheme of things, right, the more students that come to you, what would you say is probably the foremost skill set that you guys work to enhance with them?
Definitely the resume building is one of the main things. We want to make sure that every student has a professional resume that enhances their skills, their technical skills, especially with their education that they did get from DSDT. We want to kind of go in depth of that. We also want to make sure that each person knows how to talk on the phone, especially with interviewing. I know a lot of people know how to interview, but a lot of things have changed recently as how interviews go. So we want to make sure that every student is well prepared for that. And then just their clear communication on the phone.
Okay, so I'm your favorite student, right? I come in and I say, Ashley, you've been talking to me since I started here at DSDT. I have a resume. I had a resume when I came to you guys. What is probably one of the best tips you can give me as to ensure that I actually land that opportunity when I'm going before that employer that you sent me to?
Sure. So what we'll do is we'll sit down, we'll even look at that resume a little bit more in depth. What we'll do is we'll save it as a PDF, convert it back to Word, make sure that there's no oddball text messages or text boxes, things like that. No odd spacings, everything is correctly spelled. And then what we'll do is we'll enhance that resume. We'll put the skills towards the top. We'll enhance specific technical skills, make sure that the resume stands out. We're using different resume templates that aren't just a generic template. We're using something that has a little bit of color to it. And then we're using that resume so when they do apply for these positions, their resume is the first one that stands out. And as they go in depth and reading that, the skills are right up at the front.
Okay, so I mean, we're in technology, right? But I've often heard that certain times when you send resumes over, these resumes are being looked at through some sort of AI. And at times, if I don't have the right code words or those Boolean searches in it, then potentially I'm overlooked. Is that somewhat true? Have you found that to be true?
It is true. It's very true. So there are specific words that need to be on there, especially if you're pursuing the CompTIA A+, the Net+, the CISA, cybersecurity. Those need to be on there as well. Those are big keywords: troubleshooting, networking, specialist. IT help desk. There's these key words that we know based on talking with our employers that do work with the school. We use those, and we make sure that the students have those skill sets before we put them on the resume. But that is the main part of the Boolean search. Is yes, they do pull that.
Okay, so probably one of the first things that students often ask the admissions representatives, okay, what companies are you guys really working with? Are you just, just giving me these code words like Amazon, Google, HP? What company can you definitively tell students that once they get the skill set, they get those certification, what companies do they stand a chance at being hired at?
They have a chance at being hired at Tech Systems. Also GDIT, which is General Dynamics Information Technology. That's for your Security Plus. Also Stefanini, Logicalis. We are working with Space Lab Detroit. They're the ones who are doing our film students as well. Those are the social media side of it. So we have a lot of companies that do, right when they get those certifications, they have jobs. Even if they don't have the certifications, they can get entry-level positions. With Logicalis, they get the foot in the door and they can move up to higher positions as well.
Are there any companies that you would say are more, I don't know, can I use the word, I can't say the word friendly, but are they more particular about having the certifications versus not having them? I mean, is it a must that I have to have my A plus, Security Plus, or whatever the case may be in order to get an opportunity with these companies?
It's not necessarily a need for the certifications, but they do look nice on the resume. But there are some companies that do require the certifications as well as any company with specific certifications. But there are jobs that are available with specific companies that do not require that.
Okay. So briefly, tell me a little bit about my social media in the grand scheme of things, because I know I have a tendency to want to post anything and everything. And I absolutely know that we have had students that have went to interviews, and because of their social background, they've had issues with landing those opportunities. So can you give me a little bit of information about the do's and don'ts of my social media?
Yeah, so one of the things that we tell a lot of the students when they are applying for jobs is to make sure that they have a clean social media. Don't post anything that because companies can look at your Facebook, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, things like that. So they want to make sure that you have a nice, clean LinkedIn, Facebook page. That way, when you do start your interviews, there's nothing that's going to show up that's going to deny you a job based on what you posted.
Okay. So what platforms do you favor more? Is it just LinkedIn, or do they actually look at my Facebook? Because Facebook, I'd be in trouble. I'm not going to lie.
Some companies will look at your Facebook page. Depending on which companies that you do apply for, that is one of the things that they've said that they will look at. They will look at your Facebook, your Twitter, even TikTok now is one of the new things that they will look at, Instagram as well. So they do pull a lot of those searches just to see what you do have posted.
Great information. What do you think, Jamie Harris over there?
Well, I think that's great to hear. I do have a few questions. So, traditionally, every interview that I've been on in the past when I was working for organizations or corporations, I had to go and actually sit in person and interview multiple times, say maybe 4 interviews with different individuals. Are you saying that now most of the interviews are being held virtually, or are they still in person?
Most of them are held virtually, just face-to-face like we are doing here on podcast, virtually here. But then there's some that do 5-6 interviews over the phone. If they are located in Michigan, they will go on site to some of these specific companies that are on site and also interview there, not just in Metro Detroit, but we do have companies all across the United States as well. So if the student is in those specific locations where that company is at, they will prefer them to come on site for those interviews. So it just depends on the company.
Okay, so I can see how that'd be good for some people and bad for some people, because getting on live right now for me is I'm a busy bee, I'm a worker, and I love to be behind the scenes, and I don't always like to be in person, face to face, and especially with a microphone. So I can see how that might, not fare well for some individuals who are actually applying for jobs and having to interview virtually. What do you think about that?
Well, so we actually work hand in hand with a lot of the students virtually. I had an interview prep with a student on Monday, and we sat down, made sure that his Zoom was working correctly, that there was no lighting behind him, specific things like that. And we also made sure that he was speaking clearly. And if you start to get nervous virtually, how to calm yourself down while you are interviewing. So there are tricks to trades that we help every student with virtually interviewing.
I'd assume you want to make sure that the dog isn't present in the house, maybe not run kids around.
No outside noise, things like that. You want to make sure that everything is clean, a nice clean background, behind you to make sure that there's nothing that's going to distract the person that's interviewing.
Okay, so we have a question, and the question that's being posed is saying, is it more favorable not to have any social media, or does that also count against you, Ashley?
So it works both ways. So yes, it's favorable to have the social media, but at the same time, it's also best to not post anything that can compromise a job opportunity. Some companies do like to have the ability to know that you have social media as a skill set, whether you have TikTok, Facebook, or things like that, because they want to be able to use you for advertising their own business. But at the same time, you just have to be careful of what you are posting personally.
Wow. Great advice. Great advice. All right, so we got a few things that are happening right now in the tech job market. All right, so let's take a look at these, because I definitely like to get your opinion about some of what's happening right now. So one of the things that's going on is cybersecurity jobs claim an increasing share of tech hiring activity. Analysts from CompTIA reveal. Wow. Why is cybersecurity booming right now, Ashley?
Well, given the circumstances, a lot of things have been moved to remote, on-site, or virtually. So what's going to happen is that you're going to have a lot of people hacking into specific companies and social media and things like that. So cybersecurity, it has a higher need now because you need that person on the back end that's going to be tracking whether there's ransomware or some critical infrastructure damage on your end, any hacking, making sure that your workers don't click on X, Y, and Z that's being sent around. So cybersecurity is very more important now than it was a year ago.
So are you finding that with the companies that we're working for or working with, that they are looking more ever so for those individuals that are having these cybersecurity skills?
We do. We have one. We have a company, General Dynamics Information Technology. They're looking for those students with that cybersecurity background to really help them in that back end part of it, making sure that their critical infrastructures are safe and sound. They work a lot with the autonomous vehicles as well too. So they want to make sure that the back end of security for those autonomous vehicles are safe and sound. Also, their own products that they're using, their software, they want to make sure that nobody's hacking into that critical information. So yes, it's a huge need.
Wow.
Well, Ashley and I just had a really great meeting today with a potential employer. And actually, it's a recruiting firm, but they work with veterans. And so I found it so interesting because he was giving statistics the entire Zoom meeting that we had. But one of the things he said is that there is so much demand for a cybersecurity specialist that even if we have an individual who goes through our program and say they get networking and security and SISA, all he's looking for is them for actually to be certified in Security Plus. If you have a Security Plus certification, he can place you pretty much anywhere for entry level and even greater than entry level positions right now. And he said there's so much demand that it's actually kind of frightening. And we're only going to see that increasingly get greater till the year 2024.
Wow. I know one of the stories that we also came across with is that we're in the hottest job market for tech workers since the .com era, that being the IT sector. So many times we have students that are specifically signing up with our admissions representative just because they're trying to get those entry-level skills that would give them an opportunity. Now, it doesn't matter if they have the bachelor's degree, the master's degree, and whatever the program it is, they still want that specific training for those positions that are available. Ashley, are you finding that we have these students that are even more so with these credentials are having just an easier time in the job market with the companies that we're working with?
Yeah, so our students that have gone through our Tech 2 and even our Tech 6 and our film production course, we do have a lot of the IT help desk positions, and we are finding that after going through our program, they're able to get a job within a couple of weeks of interviewing with some of these companies. We have a need for the IT help desks, the service desks, also networking administration, there's software developers, things like that. So as they're going through these courses, they're ready to go as soon as they graduate, and these companies are grabbing our students like crazy.
But it's funny to kind of piggyback on what Ashley's saying. is, the meeting we had this morning was before, we used to have to sit there and try to convince employers why we didn't need a bachelor degree or, an associate degree. And now, before when we used to have to convince employers, now they're actually searching and seeking out individuals that are taking certificate of completion programs because their focus is more narrowed. And so employers are really getting on board with this and hearing this, firsthand from a recruiting firm that is dealing with, major organizations. It just goes to show you, the trend is there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Ashley, we'd like to thank you for everything that you do at DSDT. We'd like to thank you for everything you do with our students. Is there anything that you would like to part us with before we move on to the actual student who is going to be coming on after you in order to share some of the updates with him after DSDT?
Honestly, personally, I just want to thank both of you guys. DSDT has been a really great company in general, helping not just our veterans, but students in general. So to be able to sit here and to help all of our students get a position after their graduation is very warming to the heart. So this company is phenomenal. So I just want to thank you both.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. We love to warm hearts, right? Right. So we'd like to appreciate you. Thank you today, Ashley, for joining us.
Thank you.
And so we got to take a quick break, but on the other side of this break, we're going to be speaking with our student, Mr. Kendrick Williams. Kendrick is a former student. He graduated a while ago, and he's going to just update us about, his time here at DSDT, what has transpired in his life as a result of having his credentials from DSDT, as well as if you have a security clearance, how well does that assist you if you're looking for employment in tech? So tune in right after this message. Got to pay a couple bills, and Kendrick will be with us here in the studio.
Right now, there are opportunities in the tech industry we can train you for. In our newly renovated state-of-the-art facility, classes are beginning monthly in cybersecurity, drone technology, digital marketing, computer programming, film production, and many, many others. If you live in the Metro Detroit area and you're looking to learn a skill local employers are demanding, but one that isn't that of a laborer, at DSDT, you can learn a lot in less than a year.
Hello, I'm Jason Stemmer. I served 5 years as a combat engineer in the United States Army. In the summer of 2019, I joined DSDT to learn advancing technologies in computer support, networking, cybersecurity, and many valuable tools in digital media. DSDT is partnered with a lot of veteran-friendly employers, and with the help of DSDT's job placement assistance, I was able to quickly begin work in the IT field. I'm very pleased with this direction, as there is unlimited potential in the technology field, with no signs of growth or demand ever slowing. So come in for a visit, take a tour, and schedule a meeting with an advisor. DSDT really changed my life for the better, and it can change yours.
At a Detroit School for Digital Technology, we strive to provide students who are willing to learn new and exciting skill sets with a quality education in cutting-edge film technology to include recording in HD and 4K formats, drone videography, editing, and state-of-the-art color grading. Our instructors are friendly, knowledgeable industry professionals who are willing to teach. For more information, call us at 313-263-4200 or visit us on the web at dsdt.tech.
Welcome back to the Tech School Podcast, brought to you by DSDT. Now, you can find here now with us our guest, our man of the hour, former student alum, Mr. Kendrick Williams. How are you today, Kendrick?
I'm well, and yourself, Carlos?
If I can blame that, would you actually tell us about it?
Yeah, I guess you can't see my face. Let me take my hat off. Sorry, I don't have a haircut. But
Worry,
I will listen.
I can see that you're prepared.
Kendrick, I feel like we're all looking older because we met how many years ago? It's been quite some time.
2017.
Yep.
2017. So, Kendrick, can you tell us a little bit about your reasoning for DSDT? You said 2017. That's been quite a while ago.
Right. So when I came to DSDT the first time, I was actually looking for something for my troops. When I was in the military, I retired recently, but I was looking for something for my troops, a secondary education for them to go. And I heard about the veteran-friendly program at DSDT, and I actually ended up signing up myself. So I actually wasn't looking for nothing for myself. I was looking for something for my troops, but I seen how it was and seen the atmosphere, and it made me want to go pursue my education too.
Okay, so had you ever had any positions in the military as far as tech, or was this something just totally new to you? Because I think you were like a cook or something, if I remember correct, right?
I was a multiple rocket launcher special and a cook, so I had two different jobs. Nope, I haven't had anything in the military as being tech, but my brother, my cousin, so I was always around tech. My brother's a database administrator, so I was always around tech, and he was always teaching me. But it wasn't any. I never had any training per se.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
since you've been through DSDT's program, probably one of the earliest versions of it, how has life been for you? Tell us a little bit about the employment that you've had. Tell us something about what you have going on today. Just give us a little bit of what's happening with Kendrick now.
So after I left DSDT, I got employed by Logicalis, which is I believe is one of the best companies to start off with, doing help desk. I learned so much. I did a year there. Well, that was it was a while back, but I think I did a year and a half there. And I went off to a different job. I did some other tech work where I was opening phones and fixing phones with A+ certification. So it just paid a little bit more than Logicalis. Now I'm with Apex System. I'm actually a government contractor. It's nice. I work on naval bases, so I do IT for naval bases. I do the basic IT. I'm not help desk. I disimaging. What else we do? We transfer data from computers. We basically set up people's personal laptops and desktops, basically, for them to start their jobs.
Okay, so how do you go by getting a job like that? I mean, you literally started off what, Logicalis?
Yeah.
And then you shifted focus, and now you're a contractor with the DoD, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so did you have any kind of security clearance, or what's that like?
Well, I had a security clearance because I was previously in the military, so my security clearance was still good. I'm telling everybody that needs a security clearance, if they want to get a DoD job, they need to start now because it's really backed up. I've seen people going through the process to actually get a security clearance. It's really backed up, so it takes a while, maybe almost a year. But I got picked up off of LinkedIn. I got a call from a recruiter. She'd seen I think it was just my A+ and my Net Plus, because I didn't go no further after that. I didn't take my security or my sites after that. But after those two, she seen it. She picked me up, made a call. We just went through the whole get your package together, and I started working basically.
Now, Kendrick, are you saying when you say you had your A+ and Net Plus, did you actually certify in them too, as well as training from the school?
Yes, I got both my certifications from the school. Yes.
So through Pearson VUE, CompTIA certification?
Yes. CompTIA, yeah.
So in your experience, because we have this question from our students all the time, so we can't necessarily force anybody to get their certifications. They go through all of our training here, and their question is always, do I actually have to certify? And so our response is, it definitely does make you more marketable. But it's just building up your resume, right? So if you were to come to me and I were to look at your resume and you had training from DSDT, that's great, but it also shows that your commitment level is higher, in my opinion, if you go and actually certify through the CompTIA certifications and through Pearson VUE. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I would. And it actually shows you know what you're doing. It's good to say I had training, but if you have the certification, can't nobody take that away from you.
Yeah. So in DSDT being a national, nationally accredited school, we do offer that certificate of completion, but this just takes it one step further and saying, I'm going to get my actual credentials. So it'd be like if I were here's an example. If I were a cosmetologist and I were going to get my, cosmetology certification from a school, that's great, but you still have to go to the state of Michigan or whatever state you're in and get your licensure. So that's kind of the analogy that I would give to you, right?
Right. Yep. Basically, yeah. It's like just say you licensed to do something. Yeah.
Right.
It's basically like getting a bachelor's degree. You can't say I went to school for 4 years and don't come out with a bachelor's degree.
Mm-hmm.
It makes no sense. So yeah, but yeah, it's basically saying I did this and I learned this and I have the certification to prove it.
So did you interest in IT when you first started? I know you said you were searching for your soldiers, but did you actually have an interest in IT, or did you just, did this just evolve throughout your training here?
It evolved. I can't remember. I think the recruiter was Kevin at the time. I don't know if he's still there, but once he sit down and went over the program with me, I said, well, I'm about to retire soon. I don't really have a plan, so maybe I can do IT. And it evolved from there.
That's great. So do you feel like you're going to continue on your journey, or do you think that you're going to, continue getting certifications, or does your employer ever plan on putting you on, like a track? Because I know different organizations I've worked on in the past, you have this, path to success or a track that you would get on to get more certifications and kind of grow up the ladder with the company. Do you have any plans on doing that?
Yes, I plan on taking my security this year. I've been doing, well, I know I went through the school for it, but I just didn't take it back in 2018. So I'm it's kind of not fresh on my mind. So I have to restudy myself up on it and take the security. Then I'm gonna move on to CISA from there. But yeah, you have to keep learning because IT keeps evolving.
So how much? And I gotta ask this question because I already know the answer, right? How much more of a pay increase was it going from one job to the new job?
I'd say I started off at Logicalis at $15. And now I'm at Apex Systems making high 20s. I don't want to give the exact answer.
High 20, no, because what if I wanted to come get a job with you? Right?
Well, I don't want to broadcast on the internet.
He has to protect his employer, though.
Okay, so
the employer doesn't necessarily want to give.
Yeah.
So we're talking in a time frame of what, Kendrick?
4 years.
In a time frame of 4 years.
Yes.
Right. So is it realistic when students graduate and they have these certifications, is it realistic for them to think that I get this training within 7 months and when I get out, I'm going to be making $175,000?
It's not realistic. You have to start at the bottom. You have to build. I can say, if you get CISA, you can come out making it. If you get your CISA, most people are hiring off the street. Well, I shouldn't say off the street, but if you have the certification, you can go straight into CISA, right? If you pass the certification test. That's one I've seen that you can, with the certification, you can go straight in. But A+, Net Plus, security is really the one that's hitting right now that everybody's looking at once you hit security. That's why I'm actually studying to get security. But if you have your A+ and your Net Plus, I would say don't expect to come out making $100,000 a year. Not in your first year. No.
But it's interesting because we just had that meeting with an employer earlier this morning, and he kept repeating himself, saying, as long as you have security, I can get you placed anywhere, as long as you can have security. So
the second person I heard this from today, I mean, we can read all day long, right? But, that's what I always say is our curriculum is developed based upon what our employers need at the time that they need it. And so if that's what is being demanded out there right now, that's where we're going to, narrow our focus to. And so it's good that you're just reaffirming exactly what we heard today.
Security is becoming that industry. It's becoming the industry standard right about now because everybody's worried about security. So, yeah, it's becoming one of those you got to have.
So, Kendrick, I know you went to school here in 2017. But I want to know from you. So you said, yeah, I want to, get another certification. I'm thinking about getting, my CISA certification. What would you do in that situation? Knowing that you have to study up, would you feel comfortable coming back to DSDT and working with potentially a previous teacher or a mentor to get some, like a boot camp style training or to have, any instruction from them?
Of course. I mean, I call you guys all the time and be like, hey, I need some, not so everybody else knows, but you guys, I call all the time. So I call out, what's going on? How everybody's doing? I still talk. I don't know if Nakaya's still there. I still talk to Nakaya, a previous instructor, Curtis, Jason. I still talk to all them guys. So the atmosphere that you guys provided me also provided me with new friends, even you and Carlos. So I'm gonna come back and visit too. So every time I'm in town. So I come in, I come down to visit. Sorry, the COVID has made it not available for a lot of us to come down and just hang out like we used to, though.
That's good to hear. I think that it's important for everyone to hear this because, when you're a student and you feel like you're, on an island, unto yourself. And so you sometimes feel alone in your journey. And I mean, the biggest thing that we do here is we try to make people feel like they're not alone. Every one of us have been there, done that, and we really share a similar mission and passion. And I think that that's important for everybody to hear. So I thank you for saying that.
You're welcome.
It means a lot. It does.
So, Kendrick, here's the $1 million question. If someone was considering enrolling into DSDT and you had some words of wisdom to give them, what would those words be?
Enroll. One word.
Enroll. Words. He said words.
Enroll. No, just really enroll. I mean, because you guys provided a learning environment, a fun learning environment. So most people won't forget that. I definitely don't. That's why I still come back and check on people. I come back and talk to classes every when I'm in town. So yeah, enroll. Get your education. I mean, regardless. Yeah.
Wow. Well, Mr. Williams, I'd like to thank you for blessing us with your appearance today. We really do appreciate you. We appreciate everything that you've done thus far. You are becoming a mentor within your own right to the students that are coming after you. I think back to when you guys were here and in some of those earlier years when we were just really trying to get things started. I thought about those who would be coming after us. And you are definitely within the trailblazers of the DSDT family. We appreciate everything that you continue to do. And I can only hope that one day you would come back and speak to some of our students that are looking to get even further in the field, such as yourself. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Kendrick. It was
appreciate you guys too. Great to see y'all too.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we'd like to say thank you guys once again for tuning in this week to the Tech School Podcast. I don't know about Jamie, but I'll just speak for the both of us. We really appreciate you guys. I mean, if you really are or have been thinking about DSDT as being a solution for that employment opportunity that you're looking to get into, then you should consider us. You can go to our website. There's information there that you can look up, but you can also give the school a call so that we can connect you with an admissions representative and get you started in the process if you're really serious about getting into the tech industry. So that number, just in case you might not have it, is 313-263-4200. And might I add, the very reason why we even sit here and do this now is because of, Jamie. Jamie, it's real simple. Not every day are you going to be able to sit with the actual founder and the CEO, school director of the institution and actually get the wisdom behind as to why they wanted to start this institution. And as a matter of fact, I think I'll do it right now. So we should have Josh back next week, but why don't we dedicate next week's segment to Jamie? So we'll bring Jamie on. we'll just have, and if you guys have any questions, make sure that you leave them at the bottom of this video so that next week when we bring her back, we can ask her those questions, you know, some of those things that you really are interested in as to why DSDT came into existence, as to why we're here in the city of Detroit. Now we're worldwide. Picture that, globally. And what is it that we might be able to do to assist you in furthering your career in this tech industry? So without much to do, Jamie, you have any closing words for us?
Well, I didn't know it, but I guess I'll see you next week.
Yeah, see? So tune in next week when Josh, Carlos, and Jamie are going to sit down and have a conversation live about DSDT and what it takes actually to run a school like a DSDT. Thank you guys for tuning in this week. We look forward to having you again next week. Until then, this is...
See you.